है लेक्चर 27 आज कार्डियोवास्कुलर सिस्टम हार्ट और उसकी सर्कुलेशन पे description of the heart and vessels cardiovascular system circulatory system pumps blood from the heart to the lungs to get oxygen. The heart then sends oxygenated blood through arteries to the rest of the body. The veins carry oxygen poor blood back to the heart to start the circulation process. Over circulatory system is critical to healthy organs, muscles, and tissues. Circulatory system parts. The parts of circulatory system are heart, a muscular organ that pumps blood throughout body, blood vessels which include arteries, veins, and capillaries, blood made up of red and white blood cells, plasma, and platelets. The heart is a pump usually beating about 60 to 100 times per minute. With each heartbeat, the heart sends blood throughout our bodies, carrying oxygen to every cell. After delivering the oxygen, the blood returns to the heart. The heart then sends the blood to the lungs to pick up more oxygen. This cycle repeats over and over again. The heart has four chambers, two on top and two on bottom. The two bottom chambers are the right ventricle and the left ventricle. These pump blood out of the heart. A wall called the interventricular septum is between the two ventricles. The two top chambers are the right atrium and the left atrium. They receive the blood entering the heart. A wall called the interarterial septum is between the atria. Atria are separated from the ventricles by the arterioventricular valves. The triceps valve separates the right atrium from the right ventricle. The mitral valve separates the left atrium from the left ventricle. And two valves also separate the ventricles from the large blood vessels that carry blood leaving the heart. The pulmonary valve is between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, which carries blood to the lungs. The aortic valve is between the left ventricle and the aorta, which carries blood to the body. ये पिक्चर में हमें दिखाया जा रहा है. उसके बाद मजीद आकर देख लेते हैं. Here are three main types of blood vessels: arteries, veins और capillaries के बारे में हम देख लेते हैं. Arteries are thin muscular tubes that carry oxygenated blood away from the heart and every part of your body. The aorta is the body's largest artery. It starts at the heart and travels up the chest, ascending aorta, and then down into the stomach, descending aorta. The coronary arteries branch of the aorta, which then branch into smaller arteries, arterioles, and they get farther from heart. Veins, these blood vessels return oxygen-depleted blood to the heart. Veins start small, venules, and get larger as they approach heart. When central veins deliver blood to heart, the superior vena cava carries blood from the upper body, head, and arms to the heart. The inferior vena cava brings blood up from the lower body, stomach, pelvis, and legs to the heart. Veins in the legs have valves to keep blood from going backward. Capillaries, these blood vessels connect very small arteries, arterioles, and veins. Venules, capillaries have thin walls that allow oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, and waste products to pass into and out of cell. Cardiac cycle, diastolic and systolic. And the human heart is a muscular organ that is about the size of a fish stick. It pumps blood through a set of connections between arteries and veins known as the cardiovascular system. It involves systemic and pulmonary circulation. Cardiac cycle refers to the sequence of events that take place when the heart beats. The cardiac cycle attributes to a comprehensive heartbeat from its production to the commencement of the next beat. It comprises diastole, the systole, and the intervening phase. The occurrence of a cardiac cycle is illustrated by a heart rate, which is naturally indicated as beats per minute. A healthy human heart beats 72 times per minute, which states that there are 72 cardiac cycles per minute. The cardiac cycle involves the complete contraction and relaxation of both the atria and ventricles, and the cycle lasts approximately 0.8 seconds. Cardiac cycle ये दिखाया जा रहा है आपको. इसके बाद duration of cardiac cycle. In a normal person, a heartbeat is 72 beats per minute, so the duration of one cardiac cycle can be calculated as 1 over 72 beats minute, 0.0139 minutes per beat. At a heartbeat 72 beats per minute, duration of each cardiac cycle will be 0.8 seconds. Duration of different stages of the cardiac cycle is given below. Atrial systole में 0.1 seconds होगा, ventricular systole में 0.3, atrial diastole में 0.7 और ventricular diastole में 0.5. Systole and diastole, the contraction of the muscles of the heart is referred to as systole, while the relaxation of the heart muscle is referred to as diastole. Systole and diastole are two phases of the cardiac cycle that occur as the heart beats, which pump blood through the system of blood vessels, carrying blood to each part of the body. Systole occurs when the heart contracts, pumping blood out, while diastole takes place when the heart relaxes after contraction. Systole and diastole pressure क्या है? Systolic pressure क्या है? It is dynamic and not constant when pressure is exerted by the blood flow through the arteries. When there is an active heartbeat, systole it injects blood into arteries, such as dynamic injection of the blood into the arteries results in an increase in the pressure in the arteries. This peak blood pressure, which is reached at the time of active cardiac contraction, is referred to as the systolic blood pressure. And normally, the systolic blood pressure is individually sitting is 120 mmHg or below. And diastolic pressure, this pressure is exerted by blood in the arteries between heartbeats when the heart is not injecting blood into the arteries actively. Once the heart contracts, the cardiac ventricle momentarily relax for it to be refilled with blood, preparing for the next contraction. This phase of ventricular relaxation is referred to as diastole. The blood pressure at the time of diastole referred to as diastolic blood pressure. Normally, the diastolic blood pressure when sitting quickly is 80 mmHg or below. This blood pressure often increases even when at quiet rest when there is hypertension. Difference between systolic and diastolic blood pressure is important. In systolic pressure, the pressure builds on the walls of the arteries at the time of heartbeat when muscle contracts pumping blood from the chambers into arteries, or the other hand, diastolic pressure builds on the walls of the arteries when the muscles relax, allowing chambers to fill with blood. Systolic pressure, muscles of the heart contracts. Diastolic muscles of the heart relax. Blood is pumped from chambers to artery, chambers fill with blood. Typically, the systolic pressure is 100 mg. Typically, the diastolic pressure 80 mg. Normal बताया जा रहा है. Pressure is exerted when blood is injected into arteries. Pressure exerted in arteries between heartbeats. Functions of our atria and ventricles. Atria and ventricles, the two atria are thin walled chambers that receive blood from the veins. The two ventricles are thick walled chambers that forcefully pump blood out of the heart. Here. And the heart has four chambers. There are two on top and two on bottom. The two bottom chambers are the right ventricle and the left ventricle. These pump blood out of the heart. A wall called the interventricular septum is between the two ventricles. The two top chambers are the right atrium and the left atrium. They receive the blood entering the heart. A wall called the interatrial septum is between the atria. The atria are separated from the ventricle by the atrioventricular walls. The tricep valve separates the right atrium from the right ventricle. The mitral valve separates the left atrium from the left ventricle. Valves also separate the ventricles from the large blood vessels that carry blood leaving the heart. The pulmonic valve is between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, which carries blood to the lungs. The aortic valve is between the left ventricle and aorta, which carries blood to the body. Function of valve क्या है? The heart consists of four chambers, two atria upper chamber, and two ventricles lower chamber. There is a valve through which blood passes before leaving each chamber of the heart. The valve prevent the backward flow of blood. These valves are external flaps that are located on each end of the two ventricles. Lower chambers of the heart, they act as one-way inlets of blood on one side of the ventricle and one-way outlets of blood on the other side of the ventricle. Each valve actually has three flaps, except the mitral valve, which has two flaps. The four heart valves include the tricep valve located between the right atrium and the right ventricle, pulmonary valve located between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, mitral valve located between the left atrium and the left ventricle, aortic valve located between the left ventricle and the aorta. Function. As the heart muscle contracts and relaxes, the valve open and shut, letting blood flow into the ventricles and atria at alternate times. The following is a step-by-step illustration of how the valve functions normally in the left ventricle. After the left ventricle contracts, the aortic valve closes and the mitral valve opens to allow blood to flow from the left atrium and to the left ventricle. As the left atrium contracts, more blood flows into the left ventricle. When the left ventricle contracts again, the mitral valve closes and the aortic valve opens, so blood flows into the aorta. खैर मजीद आगे चलते हैं और देखते हैं कार्डिक आउटपुट हार्ट रेट स्ट्रोक वॉल्यूम एसवी. Cardiac output known as Q से denote किया जाता है is a measure of the amount of blood that is pumped out of the heart in 1 minute. Q specifically refers to the amount of blood pumped out of the left ventricle, as this is the ventricle that supplies blood to the muscles and organs of the body. Cardiac output is made up of heart rate, stroke volume. Heart rate क्या है? Refers to the number of times that the heart beats every minute. This can be easily measured through the use of heart rate monitors or taking one's pulse, counting the pulses at the radial artery, for example, over a 1 minute period. Heart rates increases as the intensity of activity increases, as shown in the picture above. This is because the working muscle demands more energy, so the heart beats increasing faster in order to deliver the nutrients or O2 needed to meet these increased energy demands. The normal resting heart rate range for an adult is between 60 and 100 bpm. However, when the resting heart rate is greater than 100 bpm, it is called tachycardia, and when it's below 60 bpm, it is called bradycardia. These can both indicate possible heart conditions or complications. Stroke volume (SVK) refers to the quantity of blood pumped out of the left ventricle with every heartbeat. The exact volumes are not easily measured, so they are often estimated based on what we know about stroke volume and the factors that it affects, such as blood pressure, which we can measure. The equation of cardiac output is HR cross SV. Therefore, to calculate Q, we must first establish HR and SV. An example at rest is shown below. HR 70 bpm multiply SV 70 ml. Example दी जा रही है. An increase in HR, SV or both will increase sometimes. SV on the whole does not fluctuate too much, with only relatively small increases with exercise. HR on the other hand increasing quite dramatically, and thus is the biggest influencer of increasing someone. हार्ट साउंड्स की बात की जा रही है, ठीक है. हार्ट साउंड्स में देख लेते हैं इंपॉर्टेंट है या नहीं हमारे पास. जस्ट जाते ही आगे हार्ट साउंड्स की हम बात कर रहे हैं. लास्ट हमारा है ये, ठीक है, टॉपिक. अच्छा, लास्ट हार्ट साउंड्स की हम बात कर रहे हैं. जस्ट हार्ट साउंड्स की हम बात कर रहे हैं. अच्छा, the first heart sound S1 represents closure of the anterior ventricular atrial and tricep valve. ये आप पढ़ लीजिएगा, रीड आउट कर लीजिएगा. इट्स नॉट